In operations, there's a strict divide between systems built simply to survive a market and systems built to capture it entirely. The difference comes down to where a company decides to deploy its capital. To understand how market dominance actually works, we have to look at how abstract customer expectations dictate the physical engineering of a supply chain. The mechanism that connects what a market wants to what a factory actually does is called an order winner. Without clearly identifying this specific target, a supply chain will inevitably spread its resources too thin, wasting capital in an attempt to be universally mediocre across all metrics. In saturated markets where multiple capable competitors exist, an order winner is the specific, decisive factor that triggers a customer to sign a contract with your firm instead of the alternative. Recognizing this factor serves as a strict filter for capital allocation. It forces management to funnel investments exclusively into the capabilities that actually generate demand. This framework aligns the physical reality of a logistics network directly with the target market. Crucially, it acts as an active defense mechanism, preventing companies from pouring capital into features that customers won't actually pay for. Defining your order winners protects the organization from operational bloat and keeps the core strategy from drifting off course. By definition, an order winner is the critical competitive priority that directly causes a customer to choose one product over another, assuming all basic requirements are already met. These are the distinct capabilities that actually close the deal, distinct from the minimum standards required simply to enter the bidding process. Consider consumer retail. Customers routinely choose Amazon over competitors because of its next-day fulfillment capacity. Fast delivery is the true order winner. In industrial manufacturing, automotive OEMs select suppliers based on near-zero delivery failures. Their order winner is strict reliability, measured as OTIF, or on-time in full delivery. This table maps priorities to examples. Amazon wins on speed, automotive on reliability, and Apple on innovation. Expanding the data, B2B buyers might choose a supplier solely for custom engineering, making customization the winner, or for consistently lower landed costs. Priorities like cost, speed, and quality are universally understood in business, but a market segment will only elevate one or two of those priorities to the status of an actual order winner. Understanding how these priorities interact requires looking at the structural hierarchy of market competition. This pyramid illustrates operation strategy. Top tier, order qualifiers, the baseline standards to even be considered. Middle, order winners, the factors tipping the buying decision. The foundation, operations capabilities, the physical assets and processes delivering those winning factors. For this hierarchy to function, order winners must conform to 4 strict characteristics. First, they are entirely customer-defined. Management cannot internally dictate what the market should value. Second, they are highly segment-specific, meaning they change depending on the sales channel. Third, they are dynamic. As a new technology becomes standard, what was once an order winner often degrades into a basic order qualifier. Finally, they are few in number. In almost any purchasing scenario, only 1 to 3 dominant factors will actually drive the final decision. When a company misunderstands this and mistakes an internally assumed qualifier for a true customer-defined winner, they overinvest in the wrong assets and steadily lose market share. This brings us to a foundational rule of operations. A purchasing decision is based on relative performance against competitors, not an absolute metric of perfection. Because performance is relative, companies run up against the reality of operational trade-offs. It is mathematically and physically impossible for a single supply chain to concurrently maximize extreme cost efficiency, rapid delivery speed, and high product customization. To solve this dilemma, a firm must structure its corporate strategy using a strict directional flow. Here we see the sequence of strategic design. It begins with a definitive market choice, which dictates the specific order winners. Finally, operations design. The company engineers physical capacity and inventory to support those winners, accepting the required trade-offs. Achieving excellence beyond mere baseline qualifiers is the only method for creating an operational advantage. Doing so requires deliberate sacrifice in other performance areas. Moving outward from theory to physical application, we can see how the identification of an order winner directly dictates major capital expenditures. If the order winner is cost leadership, it will invest heavily in rigid, high-speed automation. If the winner is customization, capital must be spent on flexible machinery and highly skilled labor. This graphic breaks down operational impacts. For supply chain design, physical geography is determined by market demands. A network prioritizing speed will decentralize inventory near major populations, while one prioritizing lowest total cost will consolidate into a highly efficient centralized hub. In sales and operations planning, managers must daily balance targeted customer service levels against strict cost constraints, guided by the true order winner. Finally, customer segmentation shows companies operating entirely different pipelines because various segments prioritize completely different winners. Ultimately, a firm's physical operational blueprint, from its software systems to its warehouse locations, is merely the tangible manifestation of its chosen order winner. The primary operational failure mode for modern businesses is a severe misalignment between what the marketing department promises the customer and what the operations network can physically deliver. This risk is intensifying as digitalization actively accelerates the speed at which order winners mature. What took a decade to become a standard qualifier in the past can now happen in a matter of months. Furthermore, customers increasingly expect multiple simultaneous winners, placing intense pressure on supply chains to somehow be fast, cheap, and highly reliable all at once. Looking at this timeline of market trends, we also see the emergence of sustainability and supply chain resilience. For many corporate buyers, these factors have shifted from being mere regulatory qualifiers into the definitive order winners that award contracts. Failing to monitor these shifting trends often leads to a fatal error: a firm successfully executing a perfect supply chain optimization for an order winner that the market no longer cares about. To maintain a competitive advantage, firms must rigorously separate their true order winners from their baseline qualifiers. The idea that an organization should attempt continuous improvement across all possible operational metrics is a mathematical fallacy that only dilutes capital and diffuses competitive strength. This summary outlines the ultimate goal. You must architect a supply chain designed explicitly to execute your primary differentiator. A successful company purposefully decides what it will not compete on. Dominance in any market requires selecting a very small number of variables and executing them with exceptional, highly engineered precision. Operational strategy is not the pursuit of doing everything well. It is the rigorous discipline of choosing exactly what to ignore, so you can dominate the few things that actually matter to your customer.